I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
OMG, everybody. Welcome to the final episode of the Season 1 finale of Tales from the Loop, Amazon Prime's amazing, poignant, serious sci-fi series. Oh my gosh, this was an amazing episode called Home. I'm also calling it I'm Not Crying, You're Crying. Joining me to shed a tear or two is my co-host, Kevin. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. This was such a wonderful conclusion to a fantastic season, and I don't think I could be happier about it, uh, except for the fact that I'm kind of in this weird euphoric feeling of omnipotence and a greater understanding of the universe now. So that's kind of like a little bit more than the happy feeling.
Wow, you're getting deep, but even going to go deeper is our friend Lauren D. Martin, who is a background costume coordinator for episodes 2 through 8. Hello, Lauren.
Hi, nice to be here. Thanks for
Thank
having me
you.
back again.
Thank you very much. So, can you get even more philosophical than Kevin just did?
I don't think so.
Okay, cool. Thank you. All
I'm
right.
glad everyone thought I was deep and not just pulling buzzwords out of thin air.
Well, see, that's what you do with a philosophy degree or background is you pull buzzwords out of the air.
Yeah,
I'm going to pull
Descartes.
buzzwords. I'm going to pull buzzwords out of the air and go. Let's do our breakdown of the episode. So this was about Cole coming home in a nutshell, but there was so much more. We start with Cole, who's now at middle school. Miss Sarah is talking about his older brother being scared when he came to junior high and how she would always be there when he needed her.
Mhm.
And then later on, Cole's at dinner with his parents, and Cole says, "Why can't things stay the way they were?" And George says, his father, "Because of time." So you know that these things that we hear in the beginning of these episodes are about the episode. We're going to deal with time. We're going to deal with things not staying the same. Um, Kevin, what did you think of the opening? Did you know what was going to happen?
Oh, I absolutely did not know what was going to happen. Yes, I knew this episode would be about time and the persistence of it. I knew it would be about change. And I expected the episode would be about Cole coming to terms with change and the forward passage of time. The one thing that seems to not be possible in the world of the loop is moving backward through time and undoing events that have already occurred. So I assumed he was kind of having to come to terms with that. His grandfather had passed, his brother had moved out and gotten a job. He moved into not a different school, but a different phase of school. Like they were trying to do everything they could to signify that Cole's life was now different. And he, of course, objected to there being differences, but that's not him to decide. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Lauren, when you read this script, did it capture the intensity and emotions for you more so than watching it?
No, I think watching it really, I cried reading it because I'm a huge crier. So, but yeah, seeing it was a whole other beast put together. The kid who plays Cole is so good. So, but yeah, it was
fantastic job.
Yeah, it was nice to have things finally tied up and like, things that you kind of got frustrated, like, oh, just do this or just do that kind of actually happened. So that was really nice.
Yeah, since we've had you on, I'm always kind of noticing the background actors, which I do anyway, being in Los Angeles.
Mhm.
Um, and so I was always like, oh, okay, there might be a couple that she actually dressed. I think there was a couple scenes in the loop of other people at the
Oh
office.
yeah.
There was the school. So you had some work there. Were there any interesting moments from working on this last episode in particular?
Well, I mean, other than getting to work with Jodie Foster, which was amazing. So, but yeah, no, like there's the kids in the school. Of course, again, there's scenes where you see like one or two people and there's 12 or 15 people waiting in background holding that never came to set. So there was all that. But yeah, I mean, trying to make 2012-ish or 2002, I think it was 2002, outside the barbershop. We had a bunch of people, which we don't see on camera. So it was nice to like, again, get to do a different era. But the scientists were great for that scene where, you know, his dad collapses and stuff like that. And the loop, the uniforms, all that stuff. It was always just a lot of fun. I know in our meeting with Jodie, she wanted a lot more background, and we knew in the meeting when she was talking about all the background she wanted that was going to get cut down. But it always looks great. Nathan does such a good job. He had a really great eye for that kind of the sereneness of the artwork and like making that happen.
Got it. It was what a beautiful episode. You know, Jacob finally, or Danny finally admits to Cole who he is and what his background is. You know, he's not happy, a happy guy. And so he's finally tells, and then we go to Cole, who goes to MCEP. And the first thing I thought of when I looked at the security booth is, who's going to be there? And Kevin, you were right. Gaddis
I was finally right about something. I was dead wrong. Yeah. Well, you were like, I think they're going to have to conclude or bring some sort of conclusion to the whole Danny Jacob thing. And I was like, no, it's just, we have to live with it now. They're not going to touch it ever again. And this whole episode was about that. But I at least got that there would be a new security guard. So
yeah,
that made me happy.
Now, you had said something earlier, Kevin, that really struck me as time, you can't go backwards.
Yeah.
Or you can't make changes. When did you discover that rule?
Well, I feel like it was definitely put on the table from the first episode, where young Loretta flashed forward to her older life, and older Loretta had kind of like wasn't even sure that happened, but it established that forward time is a thing. And young Loretta went back, but she went back to where she left from, so she had like a vision, if anything. But I think it was the other episode with Cole and Duncan Joyner's fantastic performance alongside Jonathan Pryce and his grandfather, where he kept trying to change his situation. And the way the family, and especially Russ, talked to him about, this is one thing we can't fix. And there never was even a discussion of, well, maybe we can change it later. So they never explicitly said it, but I thought that episode, both with its finality of some things you can't do anything with, and Cole kind of accepting the idea that he would grow old and have a long life like his grandfather did at the end of that episode, I thought heavily suggested that this is the one thing that we, as people, no matter what alternate universe or sci-fi setting we're in, have to come to terms with.
Wow. Thank you. Yeah, that's kind of an amazing thought. I hadn't really thought of that. So I appreciate you sharing that. The big thing is Cole in the woods. He runs out there to find his brother. His brother's in the robot. And I'm, thinking about the episode with the first robot who had consciousness, who was sent out to the island. So when we see Jacob inside the robot, I'm like, that's how he's in there. There, there's consciousness allowed in these different non-human things. The fight scene was
so intense.
Oh man, I didn't expect robot fight on this very quiet, serene, slow-paced sci-fi show.
Yeah,
I did not expect brutal robot fight.
Now, Lauren, I'm really curious. How did the robot fight read in the script? Was it just a simple line of two robots fight?
It was very described. It was like, I remember reading it and being like, holy smokes, like it talking about how it's like crushing him, and then like how he gets injured. And yeah, despite even reading all that, when you're watching it on the screen, it's very exciting. And then of course, when the thing falls off and he starts to walk away, I was yelling at the TV, no, even though I know what's happening and I totally know what's going to happen. It's still like, you get that, like, just tell him it fell off.
Like, don't, I was like, I know you can't speak, but just don't move. Eventually he's going to turn
Yeah.
around. He's going to come back and see what the matter is. And you can gesture
Yeah.
and like, come on, man, tough it
Right.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I didn't know if that piece was like a battery, but I felt like it was similar to the piece we saw in Gaddis's field machine, and maybe something May had worked with, but you know, I wasn't really thinking too much about it, but I knew it was something that was bad.
I thought it was like
think-
hydraulic fluid just to
I-
make it easier.
yeah.
Sorry,
Something
Lauren?
like that. Sorry, I'm talking over you. No, I think it's like some kind of like bolt or something that was in there that was holding stuff together, which is why his leg fell off when he tried to climb over that fallen tree.
Oh,
Yeah.
could have been. It was up to
Yeah.
Lauren, did the script say anything about why the other robot antagonized them?
You know what? I was rewatching it today and I was like, I should try and find the script because I was trying to remember why that robot had kind of go like, you know, and Cole's like, what's his problem kind of thing. Like I was trying to remember it too and I couldn't find my script. So I think I
Okay.
shredded them all.
I just thought it was
very
so
strict guidelines. But yeah, it's like weird that he kind of like went off on him. And like in
and
this script, he wanted to attack the human. He didn't want anything to do with the robot. He wanted to go for the boy.
I can't
So
imagine who would build a machine for that purpose and just set it loose like that.
maybe it's
And
malfunctioning.
And like you were saying, Lauren Kling, that we had seen an episode that established that there's room for consciousness, allowing Jacob's spirit or whatever you want to call it to inhabit this vehicle. And then the last episode we watched, it proved that they just have consciousness. It is a artificial but very valid consciousness. And so now this robot came up. I'm like, great, now they've got a personality, and this one happens to be an asshole. And
Really
I
does.
just didn't understand why
Yeah.
there had to be conflict like this. It just it was crushing me.
Yeah.
But wasn't it a cool fight?
Oh, it was so cool. That was such a cool fight.
You just really squished it down at the end. Yeah.
Man, I was like rooting for like Jacob, you know, this meek little kid. Like, no, he stepped up. He
Yeah.
said like, not.
I was thinking of a Street Fighter, and I was like, Liu Kang wins. So Cole continues along in the forest. He comes up to this stream. My cat might join us here in a second. Cole is running through the stream. He sets the soccer ball in the stream. And then what I wrote is, it frickin' comes down from the other side. And I'm like, whoa, what's going on? And then
that was very unexpected.
Right. And then the
Very
stream
unexpected.
freezes over, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is that weird, unexplainable thing that causes something to happen to be revealed later on, which we weren't sure.
And I the whole time I'm going, okay, like, because I had this hope that like maybe I was wrong again, and they could undo the damage of losing Jacob. I was like, maybe it's a time bubble undoing thing. Like if he figures out how to go up the loop rather than upstream in time rather than downstream in time, maybe he can undo everything and everyone can have a happy life forever after. I never expected he would just for no reason jump ahead 20 years. And when he gets to the city and that girl comes out of the barbershop and I'm hearing Kylie Minogue, I was like, oh, damn it.
That's your one pop culture reference.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. I'm like, wait, what? And then there was that other girl that was sweeping in the front. So,
well, the curtains were different.
And the curtains were different. Yeah. Sorry, my cat. It's time to say hello. The whole montage scene of while Cole was away was so beautiful, so incredibly beautiful. And
God,
and
poor
touching.
Loretta. At her whole life, people abandon her.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Alma disappeared. Jacob admitted he was a different person. Cole vanishes into the ether, and then she loses her husband. I felt such sorrow for her. And Rebecca Hall just did so great with no words.
Right.
It was amazing.
And at the very end, Cole was taking a picture of his mom and asked, "Did you miss me?" And there was that very long beat, and you're thinking back to the beginning of the whole series with that same question, "Did you miss me?" And so, yeah. Now, I don't know if you remember when Cole is sitting outside his house. He's got the book that Miss Sarah gave him before, and he pulls out the checkout card. And one, it brought me back to elementary school, back when you get
Yeah.
books and they have the checkout cards and you can see who checked it out. I paused it so I could take a look at it. And then I had to
Oh,
go back again. So I found Loretta, March 1954.
Mhm.
So we
cool.
established a date when Loretta was her age, the 50s. And then later on, when we have the big reveal with Miss Sarah, there is a Sarah M dated September 1949, the very first entry on that card.
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
But that part with Miss Sarah, that was touching and amazing.
I felt so dumb for not like seeing that coming or whatever. And I was like, wait a minute, was it always that actress in the first episode when we were in the 50s with young Loretta? Um, I just I couldn't recall.
Well,
Yeah.
Lauren could answer that, right? Wasn't
Yeah,
that
it
that
was. It was totally the
I
same
didn't
teacher.
notice it.
I know.
Ah,
well,
We were getting the scripts like you get one or two at a time. So like as you're shooting, you don't know how the story's evolving. Cause like when I worked on TV before, you get almost all of them and then there's rewrites and stuff, whatever. But yeah, like it was kind of that thing where I was like, wait, that's the same teacher. Like it was kind of one of those things where, and then we were all discussing like, oh, is she a robot? Like because we didn't know. And of course she's
yeah. Now, Kevin, you had actually mentioned during a previous after show that she did seem to be the same woman, but I guess maybe you didn't catch it then. When I saw her, I'm like, wait a minute, we've seen her at the same age. She doesn't look different. Like Loretta's got the gray in her hair. Miss Sarah didn't look different at all. So, but when she says, I also taught your mom and your dad, and then change is a part of nature and I'm not. And I was like, whoa.
yeah. And the last episode when they talked about the first robot, I got excited, like, ooh, we could see, the two and the three. And I just expected more vagabonds. I expected there to be this island with all those amazing, colorful outfits on. I did not expect his jump from vagabond to fully uh, lifelike android automaton would happen in one mark,
Yeah,
one
right, one
generation of
version.
technology. Yeah,
Yeah.
like man, what an upgrade. So
Yeah.
that totally blew me away. Completely blew me away.
Yeah, that was amazing. And then we go back to Cole at home, going through the box. He finds the camera, take a picture of his mom. The camera click is now establishing itself as a beat, furthering the story.
Mhm.
We hear that horn in the background, which
Mhm.
causes Cole to climb up the smokestacks. And then we cut to adult Cole in front of his house with his family.
Another time jump. Like
Yeah.
I really didn't expect. There were so many times I thought this episode was ending and coming to its point and to a moment of finality, and then it just kept going, which is what time does. So Jodie Foster did a fantastic job conveying the persistence of time, and that stories aren't always this perfect 3-act structure and a bow.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was so good.
I can't not think of her starring in the movie Arrival because, right? Is that the right? No, Contact.
Contact.
Contact, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't not think of that when she's sitting on the hood of her car and just kind of closing her eyes and trying to dial in, and then she picks up that sound. So when I saw her name, I got chills just like then, going, "Oh, Jodie Foster, thank you." So, all right. So, any last thoughts while we go to special segments and news?
um, I mean, we've talked ad nauseum about how this fantastic and innovative this series is. I just feel like I got to keep stressing it because it always kept me guessing. It always subverted my expectation. Not even subverted my expectations. Just completely didn't match my expectations. It always
Yeah.
superseded them and did something really beautiful and deep. And this show is art, which is only fitting since it came from the mind of Simon Stollenhag and of course Nathaniel Halpern. So
Yeah.
I love seeing art.
Yeah. Lauren, any last thoughts about this season?
I'm just so glad you guys liked it because it was such a great experience for me to work on. I would say it was probably my absolute favorite and best experience. We had such a good team. Everybody was working so hard. Everybody was like very proud of the work we were doing. And in Winnipeg, we don't always, you don't always want to watch the things you make yours. And this was not one of those. This was one of those ones where I was literally counting down the days. I had an alarm on my phone. I almost watched it like Thursday night after midnight. Like I was super excited to see this one, and I'm so happy it turned out so well, and I'm so glad you guys liked it.
Yeah,
It was great to be a part of.
It was amazing. So, all right. Now I know I've got news and a couple two photos to share, and I think Kevin, you have some photos to share.
Yeah, well, keeping up with my tradition as I've been doing all season, I did bring some artwork that inspired the show. I tried to find the last pieces of technology that were new for us. So I know my team is throwing them up. We just basically see the other robot, the hovercraft, which is new for the series. I did find a cityscape that I could not find one that looked like what Cole had seen, but this was the most cityscape I could find and that wasn't dystopian. And there, I think that craft building I recognized. And then finally, this last shot, because I got to have my cooling towers, I thought was reminiscent of when he was looking at the cooling towers from over his own home. So I just thought that was nice.
Yeah.
And as far as news goes, I did way back when at the beginning find an interview with Rebecca Hall that she had done for Yahoo News in the Build series. And she was just talking about not only did the artwork inspire obviously the aesthetic of the show and some of the stories, but it also inspired her acting. She said the feeling you get looking at these pictures definitely gives you influence for the whole style of the piece, the costumes and setting, but the acting style is spare. The dialogue is indirect. There's this particular sort of strange alchemy that has to do with the feeling. Acting is about recreating that feeling or producing that feeling in those who watch it. So again, I just think it's so cool that this artwork, for as calm and quiet and spare as it is, spoke so much volume to other creative people that it could influence a showrunner and the whole art team and Lauren down here and every actor. I just think it's incredible. And I would love to see more stuff like this.
So, all right, awesome. Now, there's two things that I want to share, and I did send a couple pictures that they're going to load up, and they'll let me know when they load them up because I'm not ready for that. First, from PCGamer.com, Tales from the Loop is getting a board game adaptation. Now, this is different than the RPG that was released a few years ago. This is a new Kickstarter where they've pledged $93,808 have been pledged of $49,466, almost twice as much. So it's the company that did the tabletop RPG in 2017. There's a board game. It'll be 1 to 5 players, takes the role of teenagers who investigate the mysteries originating from the Loop, a huge underground science facility with strange effects on the suburban landscapes around it. So that sounds rad. That sounds really amazing. And then the other thing I wanted to share, when we think of robots, and especially taking out their faces, of course, a lot of us think of Westworld. That's famous. And if you're watching the series right now on HBO, it's amazing. And this season is so different and amazing from the first 3, but also the one with Yul Brynner, the original 1970s movie Westworld. But I'm hoping these pictures come up. What hopefully you're looking at are fembots. In 1976, there was the Bionic Man and the Bionic Woman TV series. There was a 2-part called Kill Oscar that had an army of fembots who were going after a weather controlling device. And so when I think of these kind of whatever we call them with the, removing the faces, those are the images. Now, what I love about these, it's 1976. What they think of technology. So it looks like there's a small little computer speaker as the mouth.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And if any of you out there are old enough to remember building your own PC, you're like, oh my gosh, they took a circuit board and a little speaker from something and recreated this face. When we were little kids, that was the coolest thing in the whole world. today we can laugh, but there's always inspiration from other things. So that's what I
Robots
wanted to share.
taking their face off reminds me of Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it looked like a skinned Furby.
Oh yeah.
So for everyone out there, thank you so much for following us. If there are any TV shows or movies that where you can think of where they've removed the face, it's a robot, a faceless robot, put it in the comments down below. If you're watching us on YouTube, we've got the comments down below. And also, if you're listening to the podcast version on iTunes, we'd love your 5 stars. We'd love your thumbs up. Let us know that you enjoy watching this series so we can keep making more episodes. We are the ESPN of TV talk. And then finally, I want to go to Lauren. You've got an image that you brought with us. Can you explain this image from the set?
It was just a continuity photo of Gaddis's episode. I think that was episode 6 in the diner, in that gas station diner that was attached there. And it was there was only just the 2 at the counter and then the waitress. And I took a continuity photo and I looked at my phone and I was like, oh my God, this is just like a nod to the whole art department and all the creative people that were involved. That my phone picture looks like it's right out of 1978 or 19, like it's got that between the atmospheric smoke and the paint colors and the prop glasses and the costumes and the makeup and the whole shebang and the lighting. I mean, look at it.
I couldn't
it looks
believe
like it's old.
I couldn't believe when you said when you had showed me this photo that there was no filter on it.
Nope.
Blew me away.
Yeah.
I took it with my Samsung phone.
And it looks like it could have been a picture from any old Instamatic camera back in the day. And it was so awesome. So, wow. Well, thank you again, Lauren, for being with us. While we have a minute or 2 left, are there any other shows you've worked on in the past that we may have seen or maybe haven't seen that you might recommend?
Did you do Channel Zero?
I don't know that show. Is
It's
that
just kind of like a spooky, it's like based on creepypasta stories. I think there's 3 seasons. My husband worked on those. I think I may have done a couple of day calls, but that was shot here also. And it actually has the same guy who plays George in it.
Oh,
in one of the seasons.
Paul
Yeah.
Schneider, yeah.
And
So
what's the name of it?
Channel Zero.
Channel Zero. I wonder if it's a CBC production, if it aired somewhere
No.
here.
I remember seeing promotions for that.
Yeah.
It was
You should try
sci-fi,
and find it.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's like a sci-fi's version of a horror show.
Yes. Yeah, and
Okay.
each season is a completely different beast. So
Okay.
yeah,
Very
check
cool.
that one out.
All right. Awesome. All right. And then finally, Lauren, where can people find you on the socials?
I'll try and some more chicks.
Got it. Thank you. Kevin, where can we find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter at Kevin Allen Says and Instagram at Kevin Allen Graham.
Perfect. And you can find me on Instagram at Lauren Kling, LORENKLING. Kevin and I do different shows on AfterBuzz. So follow AfterBuzzTV.com and AfterBuzz on all your socials. For everybody at AfterBuzz, thank you so much for joining us. I am going to cry. You're not crying. I'm crying until we get another season of Tales from the Loop. Thank you, everybody.
See you in the flood.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.